Perfect. Perfect timing. Friends and family, you know who it is. It's me, Shannon Stott, and Emily Arnold's coming up soon. We are talking about relinquishing control. We're like making sure our lips are like one human color instead of two alien colors. You know, we do what we can. All right, let's bring Emily on here. Emily, yay!
Yay, your lips are beautiful.
Thank you so
Mine
much.
are, as always, hard to see. I bought new curtains this weekend. They just need to be hemmed. So my lighting will hopefully be better soon.
Okay, you know what? Lighting, we're doing the thing. You know what?
Yeah.
It's great that we're talking about exactly what we're talking about. Sometimes we get on here and we're like, oh no, the hair and the whatnots and the thing and the what would and the reason that it's great that we're talking about this and we're like going through all of like my curtains, my lips, my blank is because we're talking about relinquishing control, right? And sometimes the theme for the month is control / relinquishing control. And the theme for the year is community. And sometimes we are doing a thing and we don't have control over where that thing is going or how the outcome is going to show up. And then we try our best to look not as disheveled as we look. And the outcome is whatever. The outcome is
fine.
Is fine. The thing about here's the thing. I was thinking about this on a hike.
Mm-hmm.
There is a way that we can put in effort into something. I was actually thinking about the word try, right? Sometimes you're thinking about an outcome and you're whatever, maybe it's a job, maybe it's whatever, having a better relationship. You're thinking about an outcome. And what you say to yourself is, I'll try to get that thing, whatever it is. So you put in some sort of effort. And let's take the job, for example. You put in effort in looking nice. You put in effort in applying for the job. You put in a lot of different steps of effort. And then at the end of it, we'll just put a big question mark right there. I was on my hike. I was thinking, you can put in a lot of effort to something, to a thought or an outcome that you want, and the outcome can come out completely different than all of the effort that you put in.
Yeah. Yeah. My kind of like degrees, a lot of behavior analysis about like experimentation. And we talk a lot about like experimental control and how many freaking variables there are in the world. It is so hard to maintain experimental control, especially if you're dealing with real humans in a real environment, right? And so similarly, like you can try to account for a million different things, but there's always something that's going to happen that's a little unexpected, that's going to throw off your best laid plans and your very nicely thought out experiment and your beautiful data collection that always looks amazing. And like, just because life is so much, so many things in life.
It was interesting because like in this thought process that I was having, I was thinking, well, we can talk about this. We have a live show at the end of the month, right? We have a live show at the end of the month. And this live show is taking place in a theater, at the Carver Museum. And it's a space that I've been trying to get into for a year. Okay. This is great. I love talking to you. So I've been trying to get into this space for a year. And we take like the trying. The trying has been, I have written letters to like whoever. I have done the contacts, like, ooh, we're rubbing elbows with people. We're doing all of these types of things. And for a year, I've just been putting in effort. And it just turned out recently that I met a woman who had a contact. She was like, you're trying to get into the Carver Museum? Cool. Let me see if I can reach out to a friend. She reached out to a friend and boom, 24 hours later.
That is wild.
It's nuts.
That is bonkers. And so funny. It's so funny how life works like that. Sometimes, by the way, people in the chat, we have Charlotte joining us today. Hi, Charlotte.
Hi, Charlotte. How are you?
I want to know from people out in the chat, like, what kind of best laid plans have you had, like unexpected results for?
I would,
yes, because that is so funny, and I'm so glad that we're gonna try that space. We're gonna be doing. So we're doing, we're for everyone, little advertisement time. So we're doing 2 nights in the Carver. We're doing 2 nights in the Vesper, right? And technically, if we're being technical, we're doing 3-ish nights in the Vesper because one of them, at least one of them, is a class.
Is a class. That's right. Yeah. Emily is coming to Austin. We're going to teach a class together. There's lots of things happening from the 24th to the 27th of July. We've got Luke is teaching a drama therapist workshop. We're doing a class. We've got 4 nights of shows. I mean, we have a lot of things going on this month, and it's the idea of relinquishing control is really weighing heavy on all of us.
Yeah,
we have to do it
because it's a lot to do, and I think at some point we just have to be like, well, we're just gonna trust our gut that in the universe and our team that it's gonna be good.
Because this thing about I love the best laid plans, right? Sometimes you are doing things like this, what we've cobbled together, not even cobbled together, but what we have brought together as far as like a 6, almost 7 day workshops and programming is something we've been thinking about for years, right? Mm-hmm. And it is so interesting to be in a space where you think you have control over when and where that is going to happen. And then suddenly for we'll call it the universe, or for your best laid plans to align at a time that that is unexpected to you. And then you have the choice, right? You have this really interesting choice. Well, this gift didn't come when I expected it to, but it's here. Do I take it and see what happens? Or do I wait until I'm ready?
Yeah. I got a fun I'm ready story for the world. But first, let me go to the chat to see like what their unexpected best laid plans are. Charlotte started doing tech for virtual improv shows, and now has a part-time job at Second City. Shut up, Charlotte!
Get out of here. Well done.
That's awesome. And Gus Davis had plans to go to an out-of-town wedding and had to give up control for life reasons.
Yep, couldn't make good on that one. Yeah. What then what do you want to share with us?
So hey world, I think this is a really good month to talk about my life a little bit. Shannon and I have been so funny about like, when are we going to talk about this on the show? So I am officially have my first ultrasound, 10 weeks pregnant, and howdy do you have to give up control? Oh goodness. Because there is so little that I can do right now, but my body is literally 3D printing a human inside of myself. And I like can't make it go any faster. I can't like quality check this. I just gotta like, follow the like, don't drink, don't smoke, don't take as much ibuprofen as you had been 2 months ago. And you really just kind of like trust that, humankind has been doing this for millennia. And
Absolutely.
I too can 3D print a human inside of my.
First of all, whoop, 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 whoop. Yep, 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 yay. Emily Arnold was talking about this, getting pregnant, when she was here in Austin for not the Grow Gala, but our last live show.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And then it happened. So congratulations.
Thank you.
One. An improv on and off the stage official congratulations.
Well, and it is very much the circling back to the like, well, I guess this is the time that we're doing it now. Because like anyone else who has tried this, it kind of happens when your body wants it to happen. Even I had my sister-in-law went through IVF, and even then, like, you get the implantation and it doesn't always take like when you do it, right? So like there's so little actual control that you have over your own body. And it's just like, well, I guess now is the time. I guess now we prepare.
Which is that's what you said right there. Now we prepare. That is so interesting to reverse what we're used to, right? Mm-hmm. The idea is, we have this thought process, this thing that we're working towards. So let's prepare for that thing, right? But we're talking, this is improv on and off the topic, right? But improv lets us know that we can practice to prepare. We can definitely practice to be prepared, but we can't always be prepared and know what is happening. Sometimes what is happening happens, and now we have to prepare for that thing that happened back there.
And surprise, now we got to go. Like, it's a thing that is now in our laps that we, that is, speaking like in a personal context, like this is something that we were trying for, just did not expect it to be so soon. But similarly, in an improv scene, you might be expecting for like a steak to come and it just come a lot sooner, or something get dropped a lot sooner than you thought it would be. And surprise, now we gotta do it. Like, you gotta go with it. This is for real. This is the acceptance part. This is the yes part, right? Of yes and is being like, yes, this is the true thing. And now what do we do with this true thing?
I love that. I love the idea that improv can teach us how to do that, right? We're living in, or we're working, and well, you and I are living because we do this all the time, but we're living in a compressor, a pressure cooker when we are doing improv, right? Because in the 3 minutes that we have, we don't have a lot of time to tell the story that we're trying to tell. If you're doing, whether you're doing long form or short form, right? You only have a certain amount of time. And because you only have a certain amount of time, we're training our brains to react and to respond and to relinquish control over the thing that happens in every moment to moment. So that when we're off stage and we're going through things like pregnancy, right? There's a long haul. There's a whole 9 months, there's a whole life cycle,
whole period of time.
that has to happen. And our moment to moment on stage is seconds or minutes, right?
Yeah.
But our moment to moment off stage is days and weeks and months. And how can we, and we learn on stage through improv that it is possible to react to every moment, to slow down time a little bit, so it doesn't feel so fast, right? So we don't feel so nervous when we're going through whatever it is we're going through, whether it's pregnancy or getting the job or having a show at the end of the month.
Right. Yeah. And I like that concept of really slowing down, and we're like able to take things a little bit moment by moment. And um, in this way that we don't have complete control over everything, we are able to exist in this world where things are still happening. And because we are existing, we're doing something, right? Um, I don't think this is, I feel like this is going to be the quote of the month. Are you ready for it? I don't
Right.
think relinquishing control means that we have to be powerless, right?
Say it again. Say it
I
again so I can edit it.
I, so you can put this in like your cut of the sound.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
I don't think that relinquishing control means that you have to be powerless. So like, uh, you know, if when we were planning for this show, right? Like, yes, there's a lot we can do, but there are things that we can do to kind of arm ourselves and steady ourselves. And even though, you know, whatever I do might not, you know, make or break the entire outcome of like the show that we do at the end of the month, I can still do some things to support and to, you know, guard myself and guard the people around me to like have at least a good experience, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yes.
and similarly on stage, you give up control to your partner, but you're not just like a mannequin, right?
Right.
You're a person who can react and respond and still affect the world, even though you don't have complete control over that world.
Emily, that statement is so good. It is because I think that pe- I have children here, so I'm like I'm hearing them. I think that that part, the powerless part, is the fear. One of the bits of fear that
Mm-hmm.
people have over improv, overdoing improv, right? They believe that when you're on stage, that people, this troupe, has no idea, zero idea of what is to come. And though that might be true, and the though that might be true, and there is this vision, this thought, this look of relinquishing control to every single possibility on the planet, there is very much that I am not powerless. I do have agency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Over what
Mm-hmm.
happens to me, over what happens to my body, over what I'm comfortable with, and what we're playing with. To for those people who are like, you are your there, anything can happen, anything. That's weird.
So wild.
It's too wild, which is interesting as well because that's the thought of life, right?
Yeah.
Any
Anything
possible
can
thing can
happen.
happen, right? But we put boundaries on ourselves, and we have routines and we have thought processes that help us understand what the probability of the anything is, and it's the same on stage, and within that we can feel more comfortable to move through whatever story that we're creating on and off the
Right.
stage.
Yeah. And that even though it can be anything, like knowing that we can get through anything.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte wanted me to repeat it, and I already forgot my exact words. Sorry, Charlotte. It's recorded on here, but that relinquishing control does not mean that you are powerless. So
Yeah.
let's say that one more time. Relinquishing control does not mean you are powerless. You still have, Shannon used the word agency. You still have the ability to react and respond and affect your environment. Um, and yeah, I got distracted just now repeating that and forgot where we were going with our thread of the
we
conversation.
we're
Good.
just doing so many things. So we were talking about this idea that people think on stage anything can happen.
Yes, thank you. Yes,
Yes.
that anything can happen, and that we, you know, part of reminding ourselves that we still have power, I think, is also reminding us that when anything happens, we can get through it. We talked about that last week, right? Like that you have lived your whole life going through all the stuff that you've gone through in your learning history, and you've survived. So the next thing that comes up, you'll probably be able to survive that too.
Yeah.
Right. And so that gives you that sense of power and agency of, yeah, sure, it's anything. It could be anything.
Yeah.
But you'll get through it. And maybe you have some skills to know exactly, like, if this happens, then this. Sorry, I'm like gassy out of my burp mouth a lot. I swear I have burped more in the past 10 weeks than I have in like 30 years of my life. Like, it is wild.
We're doing our best. We're doing our best.
I'm 3D printing a human. So yeah, if you have, you might have that practice of being like, okay, well, I know that, like, if I have a tough day at work, or like I've gone through, if I've lost a job or like had a really bad thing at work, I know that my partner is here to support me and that I can make it through. So even if that is the outcome, I'll be able to survive. Or on a more micro level, on an improv scene, like, okay, I've been in those scenes that have tanked, and we have some skills to pull it around, and I've survived, and I'm still doing improv, and I didn't break the art, right? We have something in us that is like, no matter what, we have some sort of power to continue moving forward.
I want you to talk actually a little bit about, you said we have power, we have this internal power that we can use to keep moving forward. And in your line of work, you also have external power, or you're teaching people to change their environments, right? To change their environments in order to help those, whoever it is that they're helping, feel like they can also relinquish control to their caretaker.
Yeah, and kind of like in steps, right? And like,
right.
And because this concept of having power and agency continues on through that chain, right? So even though I'm like, teaching a caregiver, like, yes, you will need to support them while they use the toilet. It's also important to remember that the person they're working with also has some power and agency there, right? In terms of like, you can't force someone to use the bathroom, and you can't, like, they have agency in terms of like privacy and personhood, right?
Right.
And so this kind of works both ways a little bit. Like, yes, we are kind of shifting control around. And I guess sometimes I feel like I'm spending more time teaching my caregivers to relinquish control, than I am the clients, right? That like, no, you do not have to like hold their hands to do every single thing. They are capable of doing the thing. You can be there to support and watch them. They are capable of personhood and independence, and they have their own agency as well.
So I was just saying that there's a child in my house, and so like I can't tell how he's doing his own thing. In that vein, there is a control that I have to relinquish. He is a child, yes. Also, he's 13, right? And even before that, if you look back in the archives of this show and our live shows, Aaron talks about being a father and relinquishing control, right? Letting his child grow up, right? How much space can you give a person so that they can take care of themselves and grow and learn? But at the same time, what in the environment can you control so that they can do that safely, right?
Yeah.
And then on stage, when you were talking about there's a back and forth of the control, it's the same thing. We're not always just like, that's it. All the people on stage have zero control of whatever it is. It's a very fine balance and game of give and take. I'm giving up some control. Oh, and I see now that you're giving up some control. So let me make it safe out here for you to do that. And now that I've done that, now I want to play in this world that we're creating, and I'm giving up some control, and my partner is going to also make it safe on stage for me to do that. So that's
I'm going to give a metaphor and pro preschool trick like at the same time. If you have a small human in your life, because this is exactly made me think of this, because I was doing this today. I was working with some preschoolers who were like jumping off of boxes onto ramps. We set up the environment so that I was like, I pulled a bunch of cushy things. I was like, I see you want to jump. Awesome. Keep jumping, but I'm going to pull all of these cushy things for you to land on. And then one of the kids came up and she was like latched onto my hand when she was jumping. And I have learned, and this is like old preschool brain, I've been doing this for a long time, that when a kid is balancing or jumping, a better way to support them than holding the holding hand is very like, it can kind of, in a practical reason, it doesn't offer too much balance, but also it kind of limits their independence because they are literally holding your hand. Holding a kid kind of like under the trunk right here, and kind of like loosely holding, kind of being like, I will be here for you if you fall, but like like you have more independence to move your own body, is what I started doing today with this little girl, and she got more and more confident to jump off the thing as she was doing it. So similar to what we're saying in terms of relinquishing control. We relinquish that control like as the caregiving adults to like hold our kid's hand and be like, ah, and to kind of hover a little bit and be like, have your own agency. You move the way you want, and I will catch you if you fall. On stage, just like you said, we can do the same thing, right? We're not going to hold your hand and walk you through every single scene partners. We're not going to be like, okay, we are in a castle and you are a queen and I am a jester and we're throwing a ball. We're not going to like hold their hand and walk them through that. We're going to support their trunks and we're going to be like, hey, let's come up with an idea together. I'm here for you if we fall.
Yeah, that's really important. When you were thinking, or when you were talking about that, I was thinking about, it's like how seatbelts, we're just in metaphor land now, but it's like how seatbelts aren't stuck, right? When you latch your seatbelt, there's give, right? There's give. So you can be flexible and move and, but it's that same concept. Yeah.
It's there to protect you, but doesn't restrict you so much.
Yes. Ooh, it's there to protect you, but it doesn't restrict you. Ooh, we're getting to the spot, but that is control, right? Yeah. If we think of control, if we let go of the idea that control is really constricting and having the say of every little thing that happens, if we let go of that idea and replace it with control is the idea that you want to protect yourself or others, your community, however it is, you want to protect them, you want to hold them lightly so that they can. Well, I want that. What's the phrase? We're gonna have to go back. But holding their trunks, protecting, not constricting, right? Yeah. You're protecting them and not constricting them. That's a big one.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of how and let's wrap this back to our yearly theme, because what we've kind of landed on is how we relinquish control to the people in our community, right? And how we can support them without like having every little detail happen, but know that, we can be here to support you. We have agency. You have agency. We are not powerless, but I do not need to control all of the aspects of this thing. Correct. In order for it to thrive.
Yeah. And and to like, that's how a community, that's how a child, that's how a person, that's how a community actually grows and becomes stronger, right? Because no one has complete constricting control. We're just all all together now. We're just all together, sort of giving each other the space to grow and feel protected.
Yes. Perfect. Excellent. We did it. Another 30 minutes of talking about relinquishing control. We look great.
We look great. Lighting is perfect.
Number of cats here, and they didn't fight, so this is great. We're having a great time giving up control and putting on shows. Thanks. Charlotte says that we always say what she needs to hear every week. So
we're here for you, Charlotte. We're here for you. Thanks for joining us every week. Thank you if you're watching afterwards. Thank you so much, Charlotte. Make sure you try to join us for those last couple of days. We're gonna have some virtual stuff. You too. And as always, let me get it ready because I like to have it right here. As always, we will see you on and
off the stage. Goodbye.
Bye.